Okay, if you were drawn to this message, it wasn't random. There's something here meant just for you. Take what feels right and let the rest pass. What's coming through very strongly is your heart. You have a naturally big, open heart, and recently that part of you may have placed you in a difficult or confusing situation. You might be looking back now, wondering why you allowed someone so close, or why you felt guided to help them in the first place. This connection wasn't accidental. There was a reason you crossed paths with this person. It feels like someone you genuinely believed you were meant to support in some way. For many of you, this is not just romance, it feels like family or someone very close to you. You are the type of person who steps in when you see someone lacking. You give without keeping score. That's part of who you are, and it's a beautiful quality. But this experience challenged that part of you. You may feel like you gave too much, or that you overextended yourself. Now you're questioning how open you want to be moving forward. And for someone like you, pulling back doesn't come easily. You weren't made to love in small portions. You give from overflow. Your intuition tried to speak to you during this connection. On some level, this person knew they couldn't match your energy. They knew the exchange wouldn't be equal. Yet they still came in, seeing your kindness, your consistency, your goodness, and viewing you as a source. What they didn't fully understand is that you are protected. The same source that flows through you also watches over you. This person may have promised effort, support, or reciprocity, believing you would carry more than your share. But clarity is coming. You are going to understand why this happened, what role this person played, and what this experience was meant to show you. If this feels very personal, it's because it is. You'll know if this message was meant for you. Even though this connection was meant to happen, you may still be questioning what role this person was actually supposed to play in your life. What's coming through clearly is that there were warning signs early on, but they were overlooked. On a deeper level, this person knew they were dealing with someone powerful, someone different. Their soul felt it. And even with that awareness, they still chose to move the way they did. That matters. This connection could have been with a family member, a romantic partner, a close friend, or even someone you worked with. The form doesn't matter as much as the energy. What's important is that it ended before things could go much further. It feels like there was a clear line, and once it was reached, the connection was cut. The message around it is simply enough. You gave a lot to this person. Maybe not in obvious ways, but through your time, your support, your advice, your presence. You gave from your heart. And your energy is not small, it's your life force. That's not something meant to be taken lightly. You carry a strong, open heart, and because of that, not everyone gets access to you. Some people come into your life for a reason, others for a lesson. This person thought they could take more than they gave, or that they could keep pulling from you without giving back. That's where it stopped. You'll know who this is because the connection likely ended suddenly, or you felt an unexplainable urge to pull your energy back. You may have felt tired of explaining yourself, tired of pouring into someone who would never fully understand you. When you have a big heart, you tend to meet two kinds of people: those who truly see you and respect what you carry, and those who only see what they can take. This connection feels like the second kind. There's also a strong sense that you bonded with this person through shared pain or similar past experiences. That creates an intense connection. It can feel familiar and deep very quickly. But trauma based connections can either help both people grow or keep one person stuck. Here, it feels like you were evolving, and they were trying to keep you tied to an old version of yourself. At some point, the energy shifted. What once felt natural started to feel heavy. Sharing began to feel uncomfortable. Your intuition stepped in. The deeper lesson is about your power. Your heart is your strength, but you're learning discernment. You're learning who deserves your energy and who doesn't. You live from a place of overflow. You naturally breathe life into others. That makes you rare, but it also attracts takers. Right now, you're being guided to protect your energy and honor its value. Your energy matters. This is just the natural flow of life. It's how things stay balanced. When you've been giving too much, when you've been overextending, when people have been taking more from you than they should, there comes a point where the universe steps in and says, enough. Not because you did something wrong, but because you were never meant to be drained like that. You were never meant to keep pouring from a cup that no one is helping you refill. And I feel like that's what's happening in your life right now. It's like something is being corrected. Like a quiet spiritual boundary is being placed around you. And it may look like a sudden distance, a separation, a cutoff, a shift in a relationship, a change in someone's access to you. It may feel unexpected. It may even feel uncomfortable at first. But the deeper truth is that you're being protected. Either you're being removed from that situation, or that person is being removed from benefiting from your energy, your presence, your kindness, your emotional labor, your vitality. Because you've been carrying more than your share. And there could be someone around you right now, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, maybe a lover, maybe a coworker, who has been trying to pull you into an unhealthy emotional attachment. Not always in a loud or obvious way. Sometimes it's subtle. It's the constant problems, the constant crisis, the constant emotional intensity, the guilt trips, the "you're the only one who understands me, but I don't know what I'd do without you," the way they make you feel responsible for their healing. And I want to say this gently, but clearly. Some people don't love your heart. They love what your heart does for them. They know you have a massive heart. They know you're compassionate. They know you forgive easily. They know you try to see the good in people. They know you don't stay down for long because you have something inside you that keeps lifting you back up. And because of that, they assume you'll always bounce back, even if they're the reason you got hurt. You don't view the world the same way most people do. Your mind doesn't live in the same place as theirs. Your heart doesn't move the same way. You can sit in silence and still feel peace. You can lose something and still find meaning. You can go through pain and still come out softer, not weaker, just softer. And to some people, that's inspiring. They see you as strong. They see you as beautiful. They see you as a blessing. But to others, your light makes them uncomfortable because your light exposes what they've been hiding. Your consistency exposes their inconsistency. Your kindness exposes their selfishness. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your faith exposes their fear. And instead of rising to meet you, some people will try to outsmart you, manipulate you, or use you. Not because you're foolish, but because you're generous. And some people confuse generosity with weakness. But I feel like you're reaching a turning point. There's something happening in your relationships that's changing on a deep level, not just on the surface. It's like a cord has been cut, like an energetic connection that used to give someone comfort, power, attention, or access is no longer feeding them the same way. And now they're feeling it. They're noticing it. They're realizing what it means when they don't have you the way they used to. And here's the truth. You're realizing your power, and they are realizing it too. You're starting to understand something you may have ignored for a long time. You are not just nice. You are not just kind. You are not just strong. You are powerful. And you're powerful in a way that doesn't scream. It doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's the kind of power that comes from being anchored in something higher than ego. And I feel like your life has been set up in a way where people learn lessons through you. Not because you're trying to teach them, but because your energy brings things to the surface. You have this presence that forces truth. You have this way of existing that makes people face themselves. Some people meet you and they grow. Some people meet you and they get uncomfortable. Some people meet you and they become better. And some people meet you and they try to control you because they can't control how you make them feel. It's like wherever you go, the truth follows. And you may have noticed this in your life. No matter what someone tries to do to you, they can't keep you down. They can't ruin you. They can't steal what's meant for you. They can't hold you under. You rise. You heal. You rebuild. You glow again. And that's why it feels like you don't operate on the same level as people who are stuck in survival thinking. The way they plan, the way they plot, the way they move in the world, it doesn't apply to you because you're connected to something bigger. You're connected to a source that people can't touch. So what happens is this: when you're present in someone's life, they might not fully appreciate you. They might even take you for granted. They might assume you'll always be there. They might assume your love is unlimited and your forgiveness has no boundary. But the moment you're removed, when the cord is cut, then they understand. Then they feel the deficit. Then they realize how much you carried, how much you held, how much you stabilized in their world without even being loud about it. Meanwhile, you're still okay. You're still well watered. You're still standing. You're still beautiful. You're still moving forward. You may be tired, yes. You may be processing, yes. You may be healing, yes. But you're not destroyed. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not losing yourself. Because what's meant for you can't be taken from you. And the biggest shift right now is that you're seeing things clearly. You're starting to look at your connections differently. You're not viewing people through the old lens anymore. You're not making excuses for what you now understand was manipulation. You're not calling everything love when it was actually attachment. You're not calling everything bonding when it was actually trauma connection. You're not calling everything loyalty when it was actually obligation and guilt. You're waking up to the law of detachment. And detachment isn't cold. It's not cruel. It's not you becoming heartless. Detachment is you finally understanding I can love people without letting them drain me. I can care without carrying. I can help without becoming the source. Because a lot of people wanted you to be their source. They wanted to sit in your energy. They wanted your attention. They wanted your emotional support. They wanted your love to soothe what they refused to heal. They wanted access to your heart because it felt like home, but they didn't treat it like sacred ground. They treated it like something they were entitled to. And you may have not realized who you were dealing with at first, because you naturally assume people are sincere. You naturally assume people mean what they say. You naturally assume people love the way you love. But you're learning now, not everyone has your heart. Not everyone has your intentions. Not everyone has your depth. And I feel like your story is part of why you're so powerful. You've been through things. You've overcome things. You've come from humble beginnings where you've had to fight your way through emotions, through pain, through survival seasons. You've had to grow in silence. You've had to heal when nobody clapped for you. You've had to learn how to keep going while carrying invisible weight. And none of it was pointless. It was building you. It was teaching you humility. It was shaping your discernment. It was pushing you into a higher level of awareness where you don't rely on people to validate you, save you, or define you. You're stepping into a place where your only true source is the divine. People are not your source. People are not your foundation. People are not your savior. And the moment you really understand that, everything changes. Because then you stop tolerating what you used to excuse. And I feel like the last situation you went through was the final straw. It was the moment where you said, even quietly, I can't keep doing this. It was the moment where your spirit said, I've learned enough. It was the moment where you realized you don't need to repeat the same lesson with a new person wearing a different face. That's what growth looks like. And now, it's like something that used to have a hold on you, something that used to keep you attached, guilty, overly responsible, overly available, has been broken. Like you stepped out of a mental and emotional fog. Like you can finally see what was really happening. You can finally see what they were doing. You can finally see what you were allowing. You can finally see what you deserve. And this is the key. You don't need to change who you are. You were created with a big heart for a reason. Your softness is not a mistake. Your kindness is not a flaw. Your love is not something to be ashamed of. That's you. That's your gift. The only thing you have to change is access. Because not everyone is worthy of full access to you. Not everyone deserves the deepest parts of your world. Not everyone deserves your constant availability. Not everyone deserves your emotional labor. Not everyone deserves your forgiveness on repeat. Not everyone deserves to touch what's sacred. You are not small. You are not ordinary. Your presence is its own world. And when people come into your life, whether as a friend, a lover, a colleague, they get a completely different experience. You bring peace. You bring insight. You bring healing. You bring growth. That's why you're a blessing. But that's also why you attract two types of people, the ones who are aligned with you and the ones who want to cling to you. And now you're learning the difference. So this chapter is about discernment. It's about detachment. It's about boundaries. It's about protection. It's about honoring your own energy like it's holy. Because it is. And I feel like you're stepping into a season where you will no longer ignore your intuition. You will no longer talk yourself out of what you feel. You will no longer shrink your power to make other people comfortable. You will no longer keep proving your heart to people who keep testing it. You're going to start choosing wisely. And as you do, you're going to feel lighter, stronger, clearer, more grounded, more peaceful. Because when you stop feeding what drains you, you finally have the energy to build what's meant for you. And I really feel this. You are deeply connected. You always have been. And now you're finally living like it. Being deeply connected to God also means being connected to higher understanding. And sometimes that understanding doesn't come through words, it comes through experience, through repeating patterns, through facing the same type of situation again and again, just in different forms until something finally clicks. You may have noticed this in your life, meeting the same energy in different people, going through similar tests, feeling the same emotional lessons come back around. And it can feel frustrating, but this isn't really about the other person. It's not about who they were or what they did. This is a lesson tied to you, to your growth, to something deep within your soul that needed to be seen and healed. That's why it can feel so personal. Because it is. And what I'm picking up is that something that once had a strong hold on you has now been broken. Completely. If you think about the most recent situation you went through, the one that felt heavy, painful, or confusing, it makes sense. It may have been someone you thought you would walk alongside for a long time. Someone you believed would grow with you. Instead, it revealed itself to be something rooted in old wounds, imbalance, or a connection that couldn't meet you where you are. For some of you, it was a bond built on attachment rather than true alignment. High emotions, deep intensity, but very little peace. For others, it was someone who couldn't match your frequency and needed to keep you in a certain space to feel comfortable. Either way, it kept pulling you out of yourself. But that hold is gone now. You may notice your energy feeling lighter, your mind quieter, your body more at ease. Some of you may even notice physical changes, looking more refreshed, more radiant, more alive. That's not random. It's a sign that something heavy has been lifted from within you. What ended wasn't meant to follow you into the next phase of your life. It wasn't built to carry the version of you that you're becoming. And even if it hurt, even if you still feel the loss at times, what happened was a release. This season is teaching you the difference between attachment and love, between intensity and alignment, between what feels familiar and what is actually healthy. And the fact that you walked away emotionally, spiritually, or physically means you've grown. You're not being punished. You're being freed. You're not losing something meant for you. You're making space for peace, clarity, and a deeper kind of love. And whatever once tried to keep you bound no longer has power over you.